Doc, I'll have you know that at the end of my relationship with as it was kind of coming to a close. You know how sometimes you can feel. I guess you wouldn't know, but like you could kind of feel it a little bit,
I
like
wouldn't know romantically, but I know it in relationships.
relationally. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
There came a point to where I was like, I don't think we can fix this just the two of us, and I was looking at like counselors, and we went to therapy together, and like there were a lot of things, like we talked to therapy, and like I was the one kind of pushing therapy, not pushing, but I was encouraging therapy. And then at one point I was like the kind of conversations I was having with her, I literally stopped myself one time and I was like, oh dear God, I am mother in this situation. I was like, this is not good. I came to a full stop. That was a wake up call. And I said, you know what? I need a minute. I need a moment. I was like, okay, yeah, I know. And that got me thinking. I had to do an analysis of her and say, oh dear God, did I get with a like my version of or whatever like that to where like it's not okay, let me just say from the outset. This episode is not an indictment or a dissection of our parents'
Parents?
divorce
No, it's not.
or them. This is how we took it and how it's affecting our dating life, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. But it is, I think, okay to say, and stop me if I'm wrong, that I don't think had mom and dad given it a couple more months or a couple more years, they would have ended up together. I just don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't think so. Okay. So that said, I was like, am I at that fulcrum moment to where I need to choose now? Choose for the right or am I going to end up in the same situation? And I came to the conclusion that no, he's not like for sure. But the way I was handling things was very reminiscent of mom, and that scared me because I was like, "Oh dear God, that's not like how did I get here?" Hello and welcome back to The Pursuit. My name is Jose Peralta. Here is my sister Abby. Have you? I mean, you've never been in a relationship before, but how do you foresee mom and dad's divorce affecting the way you approach relationships, or has it already affected it in how you approach relationships and things like that?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
how their divorce, I feel like it's made me more hypercritical
Mm-hmm.
and hyper vigilant
Mm-hmm.
more than I usually am. In the sense of like I'm just like a critical thinker.
Right.
We all are. Let's be real.
I think the Peraltas all are.
Yeah, and everybody that knows us knows that we always think we're right. Yeah.
We
Yeah, that's a
we are right a
consensus.
lot.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
But
it's
we're not right all the
it's.
time because we're not perfect.
I didn't say all the time, but it is a burden we carry.
Josh. But it's more of like allowed me for a long time being able to know the intricacies of the relationship. I don't know about you, but like at a certain point, like you pick sides, and then it's
You
like
picked a side.
in like if by the way a story develops, you kind of pick sides, like Team
Yeah.
Conrad, Team Jeremiah.
Okay, I'll follow you there.
So like there came a certain point where like just with the nature of my relationship with like mom and like how sometimes you have to help them with legal documents, you kind of get into the nitty gritty of things that happen in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a way, you make your own judgment and be like, well, I can see how that person thought this. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, there was a certain point where I had to take a step back and, this therapist helped me realize, like, they're my parents. Like, I don't have to it is not my job to take a side. Like,
Right.
I need to be Switzerland, know?
Right.
But knowing the nitty gritty and also acknowledging the fact that I am my mother's daughter.
Yes.
And everything that I know about being a woman came from her.
Mm.
It has allowed me to just like the way she's experienced things. And it's like, there's just things like, I don't want that, and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
my brain automatically is like, well, if it sees it, it's a no. but it's like coming to a full-on judgment of something that was just a split second, whereas I have to catch
With
my
the basis of what mom taught you in whatever case that was.
yeah, or
Right.
she modeled,
Or she
right?
and she
That she
modeled.
modeled, right? Because
Yes.
we learn how to be women from our mothers. You learn how to be a man from your dad. So it's like I have to catch myself, being like, hey, like that was a split second interaction with this man. That does not mean X, Y, and Z like your parents' relationship. You know what I mean? It's like you have to investigate it, like, give that person a chance.
Sure.
Like you can't just like, okay, well, he's just like my dad or he's just like my mom. No.
Yep.
So that's how it's affected me. That's the biggest thing I've had to work with. But it also has allowed me to grow because I am the big, like, our parents model what a man, what a woman looks like all our life. I feel like our parents are a role model forever. And I think when you're younger, it's very conscious, it's very present. And as you get older, it becomes very unconscious. So, like the way our mommy has worked through her divorce, it has allowed me to grow.
Well,
It has shown me what it is like to continue to develop, to learn from things. And
pick yourself back up.
yeah, and like different like lessons, like, so she has opened up the space for me to realize it's okay to let go of that, or it's okay to grow in that. So not only, it's like two sides of the coin for me in that aspect of like growth, how to work through that aspect as a grown woman, but also that their relationship dynamic.
I don't think it has for me, and I'm going to make the assumption it hasn't for you either, or Christopher, but he married earlier. I don't think it has embittered us to love.
No,
Because that is usually the case in a lot of instances.
but you also
To
have to take
where
it.
you're like, to where it's usually the case. I would argue that you're like, I've seen bad divorces, and I don't want that.
There's so many factors to divorce, though,
Right.
right? Like we're in. They divorced 2 years ago. I forget.
Right. 3 years ago,
Was it 3 already?
something like that.
Who knows? Whatever.
Doesn't matter.
We're all in our late 20s.
Right.
Like we're grown adults, so we experience it differently. Whereas if we were
Right.
younger, I think it would take more of a direct hit. And also, they had been separated for a while too. So it wasn't an ugly divorce.
Nope.
So I think all those factors impact how you take it.
I agree. I got to be honest and say that I'm thankful that they waited until we were older. If that ever came to mind, like, oh, let's wait.
Yes.
I'm glad it happened later, because there was never the moms and dads place. There was never the
our life was never thrown out of whack.
Never thrown out of whack
Completely, right? Because
I mean, there's
always
some sort of
struggled.
instability, right? But like, but not, but let's
it
just say
wasn't a
to
complete,
to a very small, much smaller extent.
then it would have
Then
been
it
a
would have
complete
been it.
180 where you have
Correct.
2 houses.
Yeah, two separate routines, to everything like that.
Yeah.
That would have just thingy. I think in my case, it has affected me a lot, and it has affected me in a couple of ways. And some in that I want to fix in myself, that I'm like, I saw something bad or incomplete here, and things that I want to avoid completely, that for my own happiness and my own sanity. The first one I would say is a correction, and that I started to work on myself, which is this: to be more self-aware and have a willingness to serve your partner.
Yeah.
I would say that both of our parents struggled in wanting to service their spouse.
Yes.
And that pissed me off, both from mom's side and from dad's side way of doing things. And I'm like, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, I mean, world hunger is very simple to solve as a child, right? Marriage is very simple to solve in theory. Just love each other and you're fine. But it's never that easy, right? But one thing that I learned is to that, okay, you really gotta invest in your partner and to be selfless in that.
Both
And what's that?
both have to be in the same mindset.
Well, that's the thing. I have to look somebody who's like that.
Yeah.
But I have to work on it in myself.
Yes.
Because if I saw it in both parents, that's a signal that it's somewhere within me.
You are doomed to repeat it.
If I don't make an adjustment,
If you don't make a conscious effort, you will
correct,
repeat it.
I will repeat it. And I am not willing to have a sucky marriage. That is a non-negotiable for me. I would rather stay single than be in a sucky marriage.
Of course.
I can't do it. I cannot do it.
I think everybody is of that mindset.
You think so?
Yes.
Hmm.
But I think also, I'm not married yet, but if anyone married is listening, you would tell me sometimes it's easy to forget that it's a continual process.
Right.
Because everyone starts off, right? That's why they call it the honeymoon phase.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, well, they're done with their honeymoon phase. I know JDC asked me about this one person. They're like, oh, so they're like coming back? That's all I'm going to say about that because whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, the honeymoon phase is over. And I'm like,
so why
so
would you jump to that? That's crazy.
So it's like, I think everyone goes in with that mentality. Like, we're going to be happily ever after. But once you get in it, it's easy to forget when we don't want to forget.
I agree.
And that's why we need Jesus.
I'm shaking my head because as somebody who thinks he's right a lot, as a Peralta trait, I have a problem with people not seeing that in the relationship phase. That's what it's for. How do you not see that?
But
it's in the tea leaves, brother.
I would say that they see it, but they choose not to acknowledge it. Those are two
That's
different
even
things.
worse.
Yeah, it is worse. Why do you think they say love is blind?
That's awful.
I know.
Christian love is not blind.
Christian love is not blind.
But that's
even
so
that
strange.
saying is within our culture as Christians.
It is within our culture. And I mean, the Bible does say the heart is deceitful above all else. Well,
yeah.
And I get that. That's where I align with you. That has been a consequence of what do you call it, mom and dad's divorce, to where I wrote it down as, where was it that I wrote it down? I approach love mostly from an analytical lens.
Yeah.
I tend to put my heart second to what's going through the algorithm and the analysis going on in my head, which is, a data center per se, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that's good.
But you,
however,
were you like that with? I feel like you weren't.
No, I was not.
Because you've always been a lover, bud.
I know. I still am a lover.
Yeah, but like the fact that you just said like you approach it more with an analytical. I feel like
which is different, and that goes with my second reason of another reason, the way the divorce has affected me. You ready? Mom was not very good to us as men and to dad. She was kind of a monster.
Yeah.
Right? That's not good. To where, and that has influenced the choice of every woman that I've ever chosen. The through line of all of them is what? They're kind. They're softer.
Like dad. Softer
and kind.
But I'm not surprised.
But that's feminine.
But
Mom did not exude that feminine energy with us.
No.
That was harmful.
But that also was like affected by dad.
What?
That was affected by dad.
Explain.
Like just the same way that you said that, mom wasn't kind to like God.
It was the same thing for you, but just the opposite.
Yeah, for women. And usually when we as women don't feel loved and have that open space, we have to step into like what we talked about. You don't have
to. You choose to.
We have to. We choose to for our own safety to step into that masculine energy. And a lot of the times women who, for example, like in men dominated fields that have to step into that masculine completely, I feel like a lot of the times they can be more cruel than the actual man.
100%. Not half. That's
Because
documented.
it's not their nature.
Correct.
So it's like just the way you experienced it, I experienced it as well.
The other way
Just
around.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a caveat to that, because I saw Mom and I said, I want to run away from whatever this was. To be fair to Mom, she has done a 180. And she's totally different. She's much more in her feminine energy. She is much more kind. She is soft, and she doesn't explode. Like, I don't see a monster in Mama anymore. And monster is a harsh word, but that's just what came to mind when I was writing this, right? So that was a huge thing. Also, this is not a thing on you, but you were like Mom.
Of course, I told you.
You are
I'm
your
my mother's daughter.
Right. So in that case, there was no feminine energy in my household other than Dad. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's strange. Right.
Yeah.
So now,
but I'm not.
So now that is a non-negotiable for me.
But I'm also not
because
surprised.
I needed that. I still need
I'm
that.
also not surprised that the women you've gone for more are tens like Tad, because there's this theory in psychology.
Yeah.
That we usually tend to look for a partner
to heal our childish wounds or something like that.
From the parent who we felt most rejected from.
We felt more rejected from.
Exactly.
So in essence, under your theory, I was more rejected by Dad.
Yeah.
And therefore I want one like Dad.
Yeah. In that theory.
Okay, yeah.
In that theory. That was what came to mind.
Sure. I don't think that applies to me.
Okay.
It's
just the theory. It hasn't been proven.
It is a theory, right? I'm just saying it doesn't apply with me. I needed femininity in my life, and that's why it's a twofold answer. But that is one of the reasons why my alter ego is not as strong as it should be, because I had to be more feminine to survive, because I am a more emotional guy.
You're an emotional guy.
So I had to dive into my feminine in order to feel safe, to feel complete, to feel whatever. And now that masculinity, I've had to develop it as I gotten older, right? And then going back to your thing with Sarah, fell all in because she was the first woman in my life who was interesting to me like that, who was very feminine and who was nice. And in the analytical brain did not care. That was the primal brain saying safety, right? Like, she's kind, she's soft, she likes you, she's beautiful, right? Like, she's somebody, and she's a great woman anyway, right? But I think that's why the analytical part didn't kick in, right? So it was totally different to where I was critical from the outset.
Well, she did earn you.
Correct. And that's all right. I think that's all right.
Yeah.
Because every effort that she ever made was rewarded with whatever it was, right? Like I never led her on. Everything was above board and things like that, and etc. Here's the other part of that shoe that I just said, of Mom being a monster and me wanting a more obviously more feminine and more caring and nurturing. From you and Mother, I cannot now go back to women who are dumb and incapable and who aren't strong women in terms of capability and smarts.
Mentals.
You see what I'm saying?
The mentals. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You and Mom are very critical, very analytical, which I am too. But now I can't have a conversation with you and then talk to my woman and she'll be like, wait, who was Freud again? Why are you here? Get out. I'm busy.
That's not nice.
You see, but that's me vocalizing my sentiment of like, you have no business here. You need to be smart. You need to be capable, and I need you to be a strong woman. But please.
But to what point, right? Because you're like a nerd.
I get that, but you're also. So, are you also a nerd? Is that what you're saying?
I guess some people would say I am.
Okay, so to the degree that you are a nerd, and Mom is a nerd, I would like a nerd.
Okay.
Is that understandable?
Yeah.
That's
I
understandable.
understood it.
See, because of the fact that you and mom were both capable and we're both very strong, opinionated women, I could do without the aggressiveness, right? But I can't handle useless now. I can't. Whereas a lot of my peers and guys would be like, "Wow, she's so cute," whatever, whatever, whatever. In my mind, I'm like, "You're only halfway there." I don't care if you're the most beautiful. For example, she's back and she looks great. If she turns out to be dumb, I'm gonna be disappointed.
But you don't even know if she
I
is.
don't know who she is. That's why I said if she turns out to be dumb, I'm gonna be disappointed. But she's so
She's cute.
beautiful. First of all, my God,
Yeah.
that's not the point. I can't do that, and that's something that I'm thankful for because I don't understand this thing of women not being equal to men in any sort of way because I've grown up with competent women, right? So I don't understand the men are stronger than or
Like
men are
trophy wives?
well, no, no, I was gonna say like women are dumber than men usually, or women aren't logical,
But
like a lot of things like that. And I'm like,
and that's a very outdated thought though.
I've heard it a lot more recently than you might think. To
And
where
those
it's
are
like,
the type of men we run away from.
yeah, as you should.
What?
But I think that I am a better man because of that, because of the fact that you guys were competent and that you guys were, logical women that, like I can tell you something and, it's not easy to get something by you. I have to be a step ahead of you if I want to get something by you, blah, 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 blah. I think that's an asset, right?
Yeah.
To where that's, I think, a good thing. And the other side of that coin to where I have to find I wouldn't call her a unicorn, right? Because it was kind of like that. Was like that, I would say. Or I would argue. She was both feminine and caring, but she was also very knowledgeable in her field and she knew everything about it. And she passed her NCLEX, try one, right? Which is not very common. In a different language that's not her own.
Yeah.
So she's very knowledgeable, right? I think that's
So
it's
you
not easy
found
to
it.
find. I did, and then stuff happened. And then stuff happened.
It's a little bit more complicated, huh?
It had nothing to do with her actually, like
Oh,
with her personality or anything like
it
that.
was you?
It was not
Were
me.
you the problem?
No. I mean, yes. No, well, to be perfectly honest, no. But
So, the whole episode's titled like "Will We Make It Right?" And I think coming from divorce, it's easy to think that, right? Because like, oh well, this happened to our parents, blah blah blah, and I think we have to remember, and probably someone will resonate with what I'm saying, is we're not our parents.
right.
Although we learn how to be humans from our parents, we are not them. We can make conscious choices to change.
Right.
So it's like I think when and if those thoughts come about of like, well, my parents didn't make it, or honestly, the honest truth is a lot of marriages are dissolving as we speak.
That's true.
And like lots of a couple marriages that I looked up to, like, like they're very rocky, and I really think that Satan is attacking marriages more than ever.
Agreed.
So like I've even found myself like looking at those marriages that I looked up to and I'm like, what happened? But it's kind of like just coming back to the fact that like, yeah, it's happening to them and it might be a possibility like marriage is never I'm sorry. Divorce is never right. You never put it on the table.
Right.
But you will have hard seasons. And it's kind of just bringing it back to God and clinging to him, right? Because if we don't do that, we will act like our parents. We will take decisions like our parents because that's just our modus operandi. Even unconsciously, I think. Like our gestures, how we react. So I think we have to remind ourselves that we are not our parents and take the good, leave the bad. Yes, the divorce happened, and try to learn from how they have changed from it. Kind of like what I was saying earlier of like, see how like that's affected them. And I think that will help you grow too. And I think it's something that needs to be talked out more. I feel like it'd be really nice if like a psychologist or a therapist would like have more of those sessions. Um and yeah, just just remember that, it's not your fault, because like even as adults, I think even though it affected us differently, um I feel like the inner child is still affected in a way.
Understandable.
um
Okay.
just like when we were younger, when our parents would what separate for the millionth time, dad was in and out of the house. So it's like I feel like those emotions are still there. And I feel like now that we're single, we could still process them even more,
Yeah.
um, as things develop. And we should be ready that it might be something that might affect us in the future. But it's nothing that we can't overcome.
I agree. Um, this is just an additional point to that. Don't marry a project. Don't do it. You can't fix him. She can't fix you, and neither should you fix each other. Focus on being whole, because two whole people have a hard time separating than one broken, one unbroken person, right?
Yeah.
It's also, I think I got the stats. Forgive me, it's somewhere here, or something along the lines of the fact that children of divorce are 35% more likely to divorce themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if the divorce rate, if it's 40%, which is in America, it's about 40% right now. If you come from a divorced home, then you're likely, what, it goes up to what? Three times four is 12. So now it goes up to 52%, approximately
Yeah. So we
52%.
have a higher chance.
A higher chance of divorce,
Mm-hmm.
higher than the national average. Furthermore, this is interesting, 50% more likely to marry other children of divorce. So if the average was 10%, like 10% that you'll marry somebody from a divorced home, then it goes up to 15%. You're 15% more likely, which is crazy.
That is
I
an
I
interesting
I I,
thought.
I had never thought of it like that. Um,
Yeah.
Wasn't from a divorced home, and neither was.
No.
So there's that.
Yeah. That being said, with the whole like divorce thing, I think just because as a child of divorce, you kind of have your rose colored glasses are less rosy.
Right.
Um,
And that could be a negative, but continue.
it can be a negative
Mm-hmm.
and a positive, but
Mm-hmm.
I think as Christians, children of divorce, Jesus makes a difference. And
Agreed.
we just need to cling to Jesus, and we will make it in our marriage, in the name of God. And it's gonna happen day by day if we die to self.
Right.
If we die to self now, right, in the waiting season.
Right.
All right. So don't lose hope if that is you.
I have two verses I found which are not really for that, but I feel like they're apt. The first is that Isaiah 49:15, which says, "Can a woman forget her nursing child and not have compassion on the son of her womb? Surely they may forget, yet I will not forget you." What I think that how I applied it to this context is along the lines of like, okay, even though things went wrong with the paternal side of your life, God still hasn't let you go. Therefore, you don't have to go through the same patterns. You don't have to do the same things.
Yeah.
Though your parents messed up, you don't have to do that. The second verse is 2 Corinthians 5:17, which is, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things are passed away," aka your parents' divorce, and all that. "Behold, all things are become new."
Mm-hmm.
So if we allow ourselves to allow Christ to remake us, that will, what do you call it, give us a better chances for what do you call it, a better outlook, first of all,
Yes.
with the rose colored glasses like we were talking about, but also allow us to make the right pivots to know how to better ourselves, like I mentioned, like I did with learning the different correcting, self-correcting, to make sure that I don't make the same mistakes that dad did, the same mistakes that mom did, and then that I also make my own right decisions, not just, for example, choosing somebody who is kind and tender because my mom never had it, because that's something that I wanted for myself. Does that make sense? And that's something that Josue needs, not just fill
Yeah.
in the hole that my mom left empty. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
cool.
it does.
Can you lead us out in prayer, B?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dear Jesus, thank you so much for another day of life. Lord, thank you because although we may come from a broken home, Lord, in you, we are completely whole. And just like Josh read in the verse, Lord, you make all things anew. And I pray, Father, that you help us cling to you, knowing that you are in the business of repairing our hearts every day and continuing to prepare us, not only for your second coming, Lord, but also for marriage. So we surrender our lives to you. We pray and we ask that you teach us how to love you, teach us how to surrender every day, knowing that we can't do anything without you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for having spent time with us. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, and in the comments, let us know what you liked about it. Be sure to share this with a friend, and as always, we'll see you all next time.